Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, this is 1997's Guilty Pleasures. 1997's Guilty Pleasures. Here it is right here. She's in a bra, of course, just so you know what you're looking at here. Something is, I think she's tied up there. Or, oh, that's duct tape. It's the glare. 1997's Guilty Pleasures. It says, one building, two women, 1,000 screams. Let's get into this very interesting anthology of two stories in a shot on video atmosphere and medium. So, I've always been a big fan of anthology films, and I talk about that a lot on this YouTube page where horror and erotica tend to have the most anthology formats. And of course, being raised on kind of the penultimate of like Creepshow and Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, and even the television shows that were a new story every week, like the Twilight Zone and the Twilight Zone remakes and Tales from the Dark Side and Tales from the Crypt. And there's just something, you think about the Amicus films, you think about, so what does a shot on video film have to offer in the anthology format, especially when the total runtime is 105 minutes, and I think the first story is only about 40 minutes. So the second story is considerably longer. And what we have here is we have each woman in the same apartment complex, really like that, by the way, is representative of a different story in the movie. So you're going to see my eyes divert here. I do have my notes, so let's go. Now, of course, two stories. We have almost complex giallo type music, synth, and then like grunge type rock from the 90s, synth jazz pop, and then very dark atmospheric horror vibes in here as well. Now, the use of sounds and images that are off-placed, which makes you feel off and oppressed. It's oppressive in the way that it's done. Beautifully oppressive. And I always say that the most oppressive film to me, in the most beautiful way, is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So when I talk about oppression in a movie, in the vibe, that's what I mean. The apartment building for both stories and the New York City apartment building. Love films in New York City, and I love apartment buildings. I love the different floors. Each door on the floor is a different world. It's a different person. It's a different set of stories and memories. It's just the best. And I have experience in apartment buildings for a lot of my life. And there's just something so mysterious, so adventurous about apartment complexes. And there's something, it's almost like a lived-in hotel, right? A more permanent hotel, depending. And we have secrets in here. Lots of secrets. The idea of video has a role in the film. Filming video as we're watching a shot on video film. We have the power of mental disorders. We have violence, and the violence that is surveyed and portrayed and a lack of trust in the violent ones, the secrets of them. Nightmarish sequences in Guilty Pleasures. Like, seriously, especially that first story. Like, you come in and you're like, holy crap. Like, this, what am I getting myself into here? There's some great vibes. Like I said, oppressive type vibes. Bizarre tones and effects in here. Bizarre visual, kind of tones and visual effects. In the SOV world, you can really see the creativity and the ambition. Poetry and art. Nudity. Sexuality and eroticism. Lingerie as well. Thongs as well. Mystery. Sex. Gore. Hidden rooms and hidden lives. Method acting as part of the storyline. Escaping. To escape. That's a theme in here as well. What's funny is sometimes people will say that these movies are escapes. The people who love movies, the people who love music want to escape. And I can definitely see that. Sure, that's applicable to me in some way, but it's deeper than that. It's more than that, because it's also reality to me, as I've mentioned before on this YouTube channel, I think. It's also reality to me. So I'm not escaping reality. It is reality to me. It's intimacy. It's connection. It's something that can't be explained in words. We have strobe lights in here, like real strobe lights. So if you're watching this in a dark room, as you probably should be, your whole room could light up. Seizure warning. Horror, haunted house surrealism in here. Style and editing on the cutting edge of insanity. Really great stuff. Fourth wall breaking in here. Close-ups on faces, lots of close-ups on faces. Moving the camera in crazy, violent ways, spinning. I mean, you think of Brian De Palma and Carrie at the prom. No, this is so much more aggressive. It's crazy. Like, there's a scene of spinning while characters are talking that is just mind-blowing. We have shock. Definite shock in here. We have a theme of, quote, I know who you are. There is something about the unknown, isn't there? The aspect of, is horror based upon the unknown? Is it based upon what is horror a question mark? Marilyn Manson at one point said that art is a question mark, that's not an answer. It's a question mark. Is the basis of horror a question mark? I think the definition of that scary word, the occult, has something to do with the unknown, right? So there's something to be said about the scariest things not being quite knowable, and maybe the scariest people not being quite knowable. Sometimes the scariest thing is when someone has broken your trust, when you think you've known someone, and then you realize one day you've never known them at all. 20 years later, maybe. So thinking you know and not knowing can also be horrific. Sexual obsession is a theme in here, kind of psychosexual. There is sucker punch, insane vulgarity in this film as well, in the dialogue, and it is perfect. But it will punch you right in your face. The power of art and theater in this film. And when I piggybacking off of our movies and escape is art. In general, in escape. Are escapes good? Or is art reality, as I mentioned? Mysterious packages. Ooh, love it. I'm not talking about guys. I'm talking about, like a box or some sort of a thing you have to open up. Mysterious packages and mysterious notes. Mysterious phone calls. That's big. Fetishes. Sexual fetishes. And phone sex in Guilty Pleasures gets a whole new meaning. I have to tell you something, because there seemed to be some pitch black humor in here as well. But don't blink, because you might miss the vibe. Is it? I don't know. But there are some tonal shifts that are so outrageous that it has to be pitch black humor. And there is something involving phone sex in here that I have never seen before in this particular way. What is happening? Are they real tonal shifts? What's going on exactly? There are wild story changes and edits in here. And human relationships are definitely a strong theme in here as well. I really enjoyed both stories. They were both unique in their own way. They were also unique in not only storyline, but also style. A great horror anthology called Guilty Pleasures from 1997.